right there. And instead of stopping, he just went to the store, got a plug, put a plug in it, and no leak, no problem. So he literally created the scenario where he super pressurized his pressure tank and caused it to explode. Now, as the system sat there with the pressure going up and down and up and down, and these pressures being well beyond what the system is designed to handle, eventually, where the fiberglass tank attaches to the plastic base, it just suffered a catastrophic failure and more or less rocketed up inside his utility closet and broke everything in its path. So all of a sudden, we're very happy because we're not on the hook for this, and we get paid for what we just fixed. So I pulled the customer aside, and I explained exactly what happened. I was like, look, not trying to point any fingers, but we pretty much know that you adjusted the nut on the screw that adjusts the pressure. And he's like, yeah, you know, I saw that on the internet, so I went in and changed it. I said, well, that's the entire thing that caused this pretty much, except you also capped the high pressure relief valve to where the safety device was rendered useless. He's like, oh, I had no idea it did that. I said, before you go messing with plumbing systems or well systems or pressure systems inside your house, probably talk to somebody first. And I said, so our insurance will not be paying for this. Now he looked a little disappointed, but kind of hard to argue with, and his recording is still going, as is mine. So a couple of minutes later, we're cleaning up all our tools and getting ready to leave, and he comes down and he says, can I get you to do me a favor? I said, well, it depends. What is it? He says, can you write a letter that says that this entire thing was caused by a faulty pressure tank? That way I can get the manufacturer of the pressure tank to pay for the damages. And he goes on to explain the extent of the damages. Apparently every room in the basement floor of this house is flooded. The flooring, the hardwood flooring, the carpet, the baseboards, a good section of the drywall, all that's going to have to be fixed and replaced and repaired, and that's going to get really, really pricey. And he's estimating that it's going to be somewhere around $100,000. And he explained that he really doesn't want to have his homeowner's insurance pay for it because that's going to affect his rates. I was like, hold up for a second. First, you tried to stick us and our insurance company with this and pretty much affect our rates for a long time and cost us a ton of money. But when your plan of doing that fell apart, your backup plan is to try to get us to lie on an official statement so that you can sue the manufacturer of the pressure tank to get them to pay for the damages that were wholeheartedly caused by your ignorance and mucking about. No, I'm not that crooked. They just kind of looked at me, kind of in shock it looked like, that I wouldn't write him his letter. And he went, all right, and left. How freaking crooked are people these days? Specifically this guy. So to wrap all this up, I'm just going to give a couple words of advice to homeowners and business owners alike. When anybody's done with a job, whether you're the guy that installed it or the guy that paid to have it installed, take pictures of it and document what it is. Go ahead and check and make sure that your contractors have insurance. And when somebody calls you out for a repair, double check that they didn't muck with the system before trying to stick you with the bill. Now, I mentioned I had a question for you about social media, and that's exactly where we're at right now. As my popularity continues to grow,